Welcome back, recruit. Come on into the Android Development Command Center. It's day 5, and we're setting the stage for something absolutely massive today. We are learning Kotlin. So, are you ready to initialize that Android codebase? Let's boot up the system, because today we're going to master the foundational syntax that the professional developers over at Google use to build mobile apps every single day. All right, here's today's system boot sequence. We're downloading 6 quick modules into your brain: introduction, variables, data types, print statements, comments, and finally, a quick conclusion to wrap the whole shebang up. Let's get to it. Module 1, Introduction to Kotlin Basics. Just as a quick refresher, Kotlin is the modern, simple, and incredibly powerful official language recommended by Google for building all Android applications.
Now, let's dive right into Module 2, Variables in Kotlin.
Okay, so variables. Think of them as your primary memory banks used to store and retrieve data. And Kotlin handles this storage using 2 very specific keywords, val and var. Now, the absolutely crucial point here is the difference in mutability. So val, which stands for value, acts as your immutable memory. Once you assign a value to a val, bam, it's locked in forever. It literally cannot be changed. This is super efficient for data that you know should just never be overwritten. On the flip side, we have var, standing for variable. This is your mutable memory. If you know a piece of data is going to change down the line, like say a score counter in a video game, you absolutely want to use var so it can be reassigned dynamically.
Moving right along to Module 3, Data Types in Kotlin.
To keep the information inside those variables strictly categorized, we look at the Kotlin data types hierarchy tree. Notice how everything branches out from the top? Now, here's a really cool thing about Kotlin. It's a statically typed language, sure, but it has this superpower called type inference. Basically, if you assign a number to a variable, Kotlin is smart enough to automatically infer what the data type is without you having to explicitly write it out. Pretty neat, right? But underneath the hood, the system is always sorting your data into these main branches: Booleans, characters, numbers, strings, and arrays.
Let's actually break down the exact data types you're going to use practically every time you build an app. First up, we've got int, which is just for simple whole numbers. Think of something like a user's age. Then there's string, which handles text values, so it's perfectly suited for storing names or messages. Boolean acts like a simple switch, strictly storing a true or false value. And finally, when you really need decimal precision, you're going to reach for float or double. Pro tip, double is generally your go-to for any of the really complex calculations.
All right, on to Module 4, Print Statements and Outputting to the Console.
So when you want to display direct readouts straight from the code onto your console screen, you've got 2 main print functions at your disposal. Print simply spits out the output and leaves the cursor right there on the exact same line. But then you have println, or println, which displays the output and then automatically bumps the cursor down to the very next line. Honestly, using println is usually what you're going to want to do just because it keeps your console readouts clean, stacked, and highly organized.
Which brings us to Module 5, Comments in Kotlin.
Okay, so how do you leave notes and documentation for yourself or, your fellow engineers? You've got to use specific syntax for that. If you just need a quick single-line comment, you literally just type 2 / symbols. Anything that comes after those slashes on that specific line is just a note. If you need to write a longer explanation, you use multi-line comments. You open those up with a / and an asterisk, and then close it out with an asterisk and a /. The best part? The system compiler completely ignores every single word of this text when it executes the code. It takes 0 processing power, but it is a total game changer for your code's readability and team collaboration.
And finally, Module 6, Conclusion and Quick Summary.
Let's do a quick rundown of today's onboarding checklist. We tackled the Kotlin intro and confirmed it's our primary Android language. We mastered variables and locked in that absolute crucial difference between val and var. We mapped out our data types. We established console comms using print statements. And finally, we figured out how to properly document our work with comments. Honestly, this right here forms your entire coding foundation.
Mission accomplished. Day 5 is officially in the books, and you now have the foundational syntax of Kotlin totally hardwired in. But right now, your code is kind of static, isn't it? It can't really make choices on its own. So ask yourself, what exactly happens when your app needs to make a decision based on completely unpredictable user input? Well, that is exactly where complex logic comes into play. In our next explainer, we are going to dive headfirst into Kotlin operators and conditional statements. Are you ready to actually make your code think? I'll see you in the next one.